Hello, and welcome to our lesson on advanced techniques and emerging trends for resources and time management. This segment will cover advanced resources management techniques. Specific resources are necessary because they are indispensable in driving project progress. Identifying these critical resources and strategically prioritizing their allocation is paramount for project success. Advanced techniques for critical resource identification and allocation prioritization. Delve into sophisticated methodologies to discern and allocate the most crucial resources judiciously. Let's explore these techniques in detail. Identifying critical resources entails comprehensively analyzing project requirements, dependencies, constraints, and risks. Advanced techniques for critical resource identification go beyond mere resource availability and delve into the nuanced interplay between resources and project objectives. Some methodologies for identifying critical resources include resource dependency analysis, examining the relationships and dependencies between different resources and project tasks to pinpoint resources indispensable for task completion. Resource impact assessment, evaluating the potential impact of resource constraints or shortages on project timelines, deliverables, and overall project success. This involves forecasting the consequences of resource bottlenecks and identifying resources whose scarcity would pose the most significant risk to project objectives. Risk-based resource identification, assessing the risks associated with resource availability and allocation, and identifying critical resources for mitigating these risks. This involves prioritizing resources based on their importance in addressing potential risks and uncertainties throughout the project lifecycle. Once critical resources are identified, allocating them strategically becomes imperative to ensure optimal utilization and maximize their impact on project outcomes. Advanced techniques for allocation prioritization involve strategic resource alignment, aligning resource allocation decisions with project priorities, objectives, and strategic goals. This involves allocating critical resources to high-impact tasks or activities to achieve key project milestones or deliverables. Resource constraint management. Managing resource constraints effectively ensures that critical resources are allocated carefully and not overextended. This may involve implementing resource leveling or smoothing techniques to balance resource demand with availability and prevent resource bottlenecks. Collaborative decision-making, involving key stakeholders in the allocation prioritization process to gain insights into their resource requirements and preferences. This collaborative approach ensures that a comprehensive understanding of project needs and stakeholder expectations informs resource allocation decisions. By employing advanced techniques for critical resource identification and allocation prioritization, project managers can optimize resource utilization, minimize risks associated with resource constraints, and enhance overall project outcomes. These techniques empower project teams to allocate resources strategically, allocate them to tasks with the highest impact on project success, and navigate resource constraints effectively to deliver successful projects within scope, schedule, and budget constraints. Resource-constrained scheduling is a sophisticated approach to project scheduling that considers the availability and limitations of resources when creating project timelines. Unlike traditional scheduling methods that prioritize task sequencing based solely on logical dependencies, resource-constrained scheduling ensures that tasks are scheduled in a manner that optimizes resource utilization and minimizes resource conflicts. Key features of resource-constrained scheduling are resource availability consideration. Resource-constrained scheduling considers the availability of resources, such as workforce, equipment, or materials, when determining the start and end dates of project activities. It ensures that tasks are scheduled only when the necessary resources are available to avoid delays due to resource shortages. Resource allocation optimization. Resource-constrained scheduling aims to optimize resource allocation by assigning resources to tasks to maximize efficiency and minimize idle time. It considers resource skills, availability, and dependencies to make informed allocation decisions. Resource leveling. Resource-constrained scheduling often involves resource leveling techniques to balance resource demand with availability throughout the project duration. By smoothing out resource allocation peaks and valleys, resource leveling helps prevent resource overloads and ensures a more even workload distribution over time. Dynamic adjustments. Resource-constrained scheduling allows for dynamic adjustments to project schedules in response to changes in resource availability or project requirements. It enables project managers to react swiftly to unexpected events or resource constraints and make necessary adjustments to minimize disruptions to the project timeline. The benefits of resource-constrained scheduling are optimized resource utilization, improved project efficiency, and better resource management. Advanced resource scheduling techniques, such as resource-constrained scheduling, are vital in optimizing resource allocation and enhancing project efficiency. By considering resource constraints when creating project schedules, organizations can maximize resource utilization, minimize delays, and deliver successful projects within budget and timeline constraints. This is the end of this segment of our lesson. In the next segment, we shall continue discussing advanced resources management techniques. This course is presented to you by South Europe College. Thank you for listening, and see you on our next segment.